Hey guys, Parfax here, and today we're talking again about armor. All right, let's get started. So you might be asking yourself, Parfax, why are you making another video about armor? Well, trust me, there's more to come. We're going to be talking more about scaling. We're going to be talking more about armor values or maybe specific pieces of armor. But what I wanted to test today, and I'm not going to lie, I recorded the footage for this video probably 2 months ago. I put out a video talking about, does gear score matter when it comes to your weapon? Should you go from 600 to 620 to 625? Where should you stop upgrading your weapon? At least to be, of course you want a 625. It does give you a tiny bit of damage. But from 620 to 625, it is actually just a tiny bit of damage. So I had a few questions or a few comments in the comment section down below, and they talked about Parfax. Well, what if the person you're going against has higher gear score? What if you're going against somebody in full 625? I heard that you just do no damage to them at all. Or if you have a 625 weapon and you go against somebody with, well, higher or lower gear score, you absolutely annihilate them. So I wanted to do a quick test. Now, there are a couple of variables here that we didn't take into account for because it is kind of hard to test things. I didn't have a straight 600 set versus a straight 625 set. And honestly, it would have to be very close, in everything. But what we did was we took a gear score of 599 and a gear score of 625, and we tested it against the exact same setup. But all we did was change out our 600 Lasbo for the 625 Lasbo. So just let me show you the results. So first, let's bring over the 599 piece here. So you can see here at the 599 armor. Now don't take into account the exact points here because one was light, one was heavy, but we are just going to discuss the percentages because honestly, that's all that really matters because you're not going to be attacking a target with the same amount of resistances, the same armor type. You're going to be hitting a bunch of different types. So realistically, we're looking at percentages. And with the 599 armor, the 600 to 625, when you went to 625, you got about a 5.45% increase in damage. And that's right around what I would expect to see. So if you watched my video from 600 to 625, you can see a pretty close to this same number. I think it might have been a little bit less, but basically kind of exactly what you would expect. Now it gets a little bit more interesting when we do bring in the 625 here. So when it comes to the 625, we actually saw a 6.26% increase in our damage to the 625 weapon. Now, honestly, what I believe is actually happening here is you're not seeing an increase in damage on the 625. You're actually seeing a decrease in the 600 bow because in this 599 armor test, both weapons are above this 599 point. They're getting 100% of its value. I kind of equate it to, well, if you go into a mutator, you do get a debuff for not getting, not attacking somebody. If you're going to a M10, if you have a 624 gear score, you actually lose 10% damage and you take 10% more damage. Now, this is obviously such a tiny scale comparatively, because we're not even at a full percentage point in extra damage here. But it's very interesting to see that you actually do get a damage increase against 625 total gear if you are using a 625 bow. Now, what I will say here is, if you want to know where this goes, honestly, still putting your weapon to 620, in my opinion, is going to be where you're going to stop. Going past 620 for the amount of shards it takes is realistically not great. Like the amount of shards it takes is really crazy comparatively to the damage you get. If you go back and watch one of my videos, you'll see you get almost no damage. You literally get almost no damage going from 620 to 625. So it's still not worth it. But on the flip side, if you can get a full 625 set of gear, you are going to take just less damage because not everybody's rocking 625, 625 weapons. Now, there are a lot of 625 weapons out there, And even if you're not in full 625 gear, it realistically doesn't matter that much. I even did an armor comparison where we upgraded 2 pieces of armor from 500 or 599, 600 or 599, all the way up to 625 to see how much resistance it gives you. It gave you, but it wasn't that much. Realistically, this doesn't change my view. If you don't have the shard, it's not really worth it to upgrade your gear. It is very, very expensive. I would, if I'm going to upgrade my armor, and I'll probably do this in a video here in the near future, honestly, we're just going to get it to the extra stat points, and that's where we're going to leave our gear. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's another interesting one. I like to do a lot of, testing and stuff like that on this channel. So if you have any suggestions of things you want to test, we have a couple things coming up. We're going to soon test if jewelry is worth upgrading. We're going to do some, somebody suggested life staff. We're going to be testing that. We're going to be testing a few other things coming up along with, other normal type videos. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Peace.